Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the den. Appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me, man. Today, got another movie review for all of you. It is for the film We Bury the Dead. This is a movie that released early this year. So early, I believe it was the first film that released in theaters this year. I want to say like on January 2nd or so is when this movie came out. And I remember that because I was looking at this movie to be the first film I ended up seeing in theaters for 2026. Unfortunately, that did not end up happening, as you know, if you've been following the page several other movies I have watched throughout the year so far and reviewed. So I did miss this in theaters, but did just rent it on the old Fandango. Used to be called Voodoo. It's now Fandango at home. So I rented it on there. I think it was like $10 or so and all that, man. So without further ado, we're going to review this spoiler free for you, man. So without further ado, let's throw this poster up for you YouTube viewers. There you go. Daisy Ridley is our star of this film. Film itself is rated R for language, gore, strong violent content, and some brief drug use. Runs in at 1 hour, 35 minutes, and is another movie that I'm reviewing that is classified as a horror, mystery, thriller film. So if you've been with me for a while, you know I like to call that the trifecta of awesome, right? Horror, mystery, thriller. We like that. It's a good combination of things in genres of films, by all means. So like I mentioned, there was a bit of anticipation to see this movie just because I thought it was going to be the first film of the year. I don't ever remember seeing a trailer for this movie. Shocker. And I didn't read the synopsis for this film. Shocker. I say shocker in case if you're new here. I try to avoid those things as much as possible. And obviously, with like bigger movies, you're going to see a trailer and all that stuff. Like I've seen the Supergirl trailer and the other trailers for other movies that are coming out this year. But I don't remember seeing a trailer for this movie, and I definitely did not read the synopsis. But I got the idea from the name of the film, "We Bury the Dead," that we're going to get into like a zombie infected kind of world with this movie, which is exactly what we do end up getting into with this movie. So Daisy Ridley's character, um, she is on the search for her husband, right? And I talk around myself not to spoil anything. I say that every episode, but you know, I just like to deliver that home. So she is on the search, and obviously, like a lot of zombie films, it's going to feel very familiar, or infected films, however you want to call it. It's going to feel very familiar to you because a virus happened or something broke out in the world. And again, being vague to not let you know what happened here, but something happened to where the dead don't stay dead, right? Something we've seen countless times throughout the years, especially more famously, most recently with The Walking Dead and stuff like that. And then, of course, the last couple of years, we've had the 28 Years Later films and all that stuff. We've had zombie films and infected films throughout history. The Last of Us TV shows out there, the video game before that was hugely successful. It's a genre that people are into and that has been around for quite some time. And this is going to feel very familiar to you because it has some of those same beats that you're used to, again, with the whole up a thing has happened to where the dead don't stay dead or they're affected and all that stuff. So that's what we're getting into. The majority of this movie though is kind of different from other zombie films because even though most zombie films or TV shows or infected, whatever you want to call it, um, they have their moments where you're walking around and all that stuff. A lot of The Walking Dead was that, of course, but you always have these zombies jumping out at you and scaring you and running after you and eating you up and all that stuff. Doesn't really happen in this movie. Like this movie's pretty tame in that aspect. Now that doesn't mean there isn't creepy elements to it or unnerving elements to the film itself, because they do have that. But the majority of the film, we are following Daisy Ridley's character, who is again before mentioned going on a search for her husband because her husband has gone out of town, and then of course this whole thing ended up happening and all that stuff, and now she is trying to get to her husband, but while doing that she is helping out in quarantine areas or infected areas with the families of the infected, right, and all that stuff. So she's helping out with that. She's getting a first view experience with what's going on out there. She's helping find the bodies and retrieve them for the families and all that stuff so they can do whatever they need to do with that to get closure or whatever, right? So bit of grief in the storytelling, of course, between the families and that stuff, and going throughout the film of following Daisy's character and what she's gone through and the story that she's going with and all that stuff. Again, trying not to spoil anything of everything that's going on with her and as well as the people she meets throughout the film. There's a grief in the storytelling, and the storytelling itself is pretty solid. Like it's pretty good stuff throughout the whole movie. It did keep me very intrigued to see where they were going and see how things turn out. So yes, there is those thriller aspects, but aspects is not the word. Jeez. I'm not good at talking. I'm so glad I got a podcast to do here and a review show and all that. But there are those familiar aspects. It is the right, jeez. But those are the familiar moments that you're going to have with something like this that you've seen before. But it's kind of cool in that element where we're just following the character along. That doesn't, again, that doesn't mean that things don't get, violent looking. Like these infected look insane. Like there's a moment in the movie, there's a couple moments in the movie, but like the first one that really got me was like in a garage area. And I don't want to review, spoil the thing, but when you see it, you're like, because there are unnerving moments. And, again, with the familiarity with, movies like this or shows like this or video games like this, what the zombies or the infected kind of sound like, or they have like a certain sound you're kind of used to and all that stuff. The Last of Us, they went with like clickers is what they called them. And they had like their certain noise and all that stuff. But most majority of the time, zombies infected have like the same sound effects to them. But this one, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but these infected in this one do something that just makes my skin crawl. And it might be just like a personal aspect kind of deal, but what they do is just something that anytime I heard it, I was like, you know, I didn't thoroughly enjoy that aspect of it, which is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be unnerving in that way. So it hits on that element, all that stuff. It does have violent content in it, but it's not overly obsessively violent. Like you think about shows like The Walking Dead or other zombie infected things that you've seen where they're, eating the bodies and stuff like that. You're not going to really run into that with this. Trying to think off the top of my head if I don't remember seeing any moments like that in this movie. Um, Not really, nothing that's coming to mind. Again, there is violent aspects and moments in the film itself, but nothing to that grotesque, over the top, bloody violence. Even though it is rated for bloody violence, nothing like that. With the eating and stuff like that. But again, good story. Daisy Ridley's the star. You know her primarily from Star Wars. I think. I'm trying to think of anything else I've seen her. I think I remember seeing Murder on the Orient Express with her in it, but that was so many years ago, and I haven't watched it since. And I know she's done other things. I just haven't run into it as much. But I liked her in Star Wars. I know that's a touchy subject for people, but I liked Rey in Star Wars and all that stuff. But she's good, man. She's a good actress. She does a really good job in this movie. I think she's the main person you're going to recognize. Like, not saying you're not going to recognize other people in this. I'm sure you may, but she's the main one you're gonna notice, and she does a fantastic job throughout the movie with her, especially her expressions and eye. Because again, the story is giving you all kinds of different emotional elements that you're going to go through, and again, grief is part of it as well. So, and so many different aspects and all that stuff. So, not spoiling anything, obviously, but obviously, this is a world where people are losing family and all that stuff, and you're seeing it firsthand, and you're dealing with those elements throughout the journey of this movie and all that stuff. So, overall, I liked this movie a lot. Is it my favorite movie of the year? No, but it is in the top five. Very, very good possibility that it will be in the top three, where we're at right now towards the end of February I think I've seen 11 movies this year. 11 feels right. Yeah, 11. I've seen 11 movies this year, and that being top five, top three is pretty solid. Like, it's a good movie, man. It's a good movie that I would suggest checking out. Again, it is on Fandango, is where I watched it. So I'm assume you can rent it on other areas where you can rent movies, stuff like that. But I liked it, man. Like, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good. I thought it was executed very well. It's a different kind of, infected zombie kind of thing that you run into and all that stuff, which is a good aspect. And it's got some good storytelling in it, man. So overall, We Bury the Dead. Very good, according to me, man. So if you checked it out, let me know how you feel in the comments. But if you haven't, I suggest giving it a little check out, man. A good old check out. Again, $10 to rent, whatever. If you want to wait a little bit longer, probably might drop down to like five or something. But definitely watch it. It is a movie you should definitely see. I think of the infected films I've seen this year, which is just two. This one and it's like two. I won't count Primate. Primate doesn't count. Should Primate count? No. Eh? Maybe. No. Maybe. Okay, Primate's the best one. But the between this and 28 years later, Bone Temple, the Bone Temple, this one's better to me. To me, this one I liked more. I thought this one was executed better than that one was. But again, movies are extremely subjective. Feel how you want to feel about it and all that stuff. I know people enjoy that 28 days years franchise. And it was all right. It was okay, but this movie I think was better in every single aspect. So if you're looking for a movie to check out, go ahead and check that one out. Wherever you can rent movies, man. That's where it's available right now. Don't think it's streaming anywhere free right now. If it was, I did not see that. But yeah, according to Google, it wasn't. I remember that because I checked it, obviously. Anyways, rambling on. Overall, I liked this movie a lot. It's one of my favorite films of the year so far. Again, it's just February, but again, of the collection of movies I've seen, pretty solid, man. I like it. I like a lot. It might again top five, possibly top three favorite film of the year so far for me, which is pretty big deal to me at least. But again, appreciate you hanging out with me. Hope you had a good time with the show. And like always, before I leave out of the episode and say goodbye to all of you, or until next time to all of you, I don't want to say goodbye, but until next time, I'd like to remind you, you matter. You're capable of incredible things. Trust in yourself. Trust the process. Give yourself some peace. Give yourself some love. Be kind to yourself. The world is insane. I know it. And things can be tough. Just try to give yourself some kindness in this world and give yourself some patience and peace and move forward, chasing after those goals, and things will open up for you, man, the way they need to, and all that. So appreciate you taking the time to watch and or listen to this here review. We'll be back with more stuff to talk about, be it movie reviews, Halloween Horror Nights, whatever I end up talking about on this here YouTube channel. Have a good time here in the den, and appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, man. So until next time, appreciate you all. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And until next time, we will be back with more.